Guys, we've got breaking news on the Infinity Games table from Arcade1up. Welcome back to Unqualified Critics. If you do enjoy the video, please do hit the like button. It helps out a ton. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are following this product, but I do know this was a very successful Kickstarter effort from Arcade1up and represents, in my opinion, the first real divergence from their core gamer audience, and that is the Infinity Games table so that you can play board games digitally. Now, let me get into my opinions on this product in a bit, but first I want to show you the news. So this has been posted to the FCC's website. It's 100% legit, and there are some photos that we can look at, but I thought the instruction manual was the most interesting part. Now, I have to admit, I've not been following this super closely. My guess is a lot of you haven't been either. I don't plan to buy it, so I just kind of tuned it out for the most part, other than looking for interesting news to report. And I never caught the part where we get these physical blockers. So do you guys remember they posted a video a month or two back where their product director said, yeah, you're playing Battleship, here's how you cover up your board. You use your hand, or Scrabble or whatever. I forget which game he demoed.
Hi backers, Jerry Cummings here from Arcade1up. I'm playing on the 24-inch table, and I just wanted to show you how we play Battleships, how we set it up. So I asked my opponent, please turn around.
Please, sir. I want some.
Privacy to play my damn game as intended.
With a lot of these board games, you might have your own pieces or cards or whatnot that your opponent isn't supposed to see. Now, as some viewers pointed out, Microsoft Surface, the original Microsoft Surface, not the laptops and stuff they do now, well, that had a gaming element, and it had this smart plaque that you could put on top of the table, and it would block it would change the color of that part of the screen or whatever, but it would hide it from other eyes other than your own. It was really slick. It was really sophisticated. I have no idea what kind of sensor they used, but it would track the location of these card blockers in real time. People said, oh, they should do that. Yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of money. That was never on the table. But I think I like this. I mean, it's just a physical card blocker. You would set it out on the touchscreen yourself. You don't have to put your hand up like a goof. To me, that looks like a really good solution. And I'm glad that they got to a solution, and I'm glad the community held their feet to the fire on this, because the idea of putting your hand up, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. You're trying to relax around a table. You're not trying to guard your precious like golem or some shit. They do come with some coasters, which is nice, that I assume wouldn't affect the touchscreen. I don't know if there's anything really special about these coasters, but it does make sense to me. You'd be sitting around this table and enjoying a drink with your friend and all that. And then a white cloth, probably like a microfiber or something. So it makes sense, because when you play this, you're going to get it dirty, you're going to get it smudged, you're going to want to set drinks down, all of that. But that was really the only thing that came out of this instruction manual that I thought was particularly interesting. The power cord does click in at the top, so it's not down here on the floor, but you do have, it looks like, these paths to kind of pin your cord in, which I guess makes sense because remember, the legs are removable. Overall, it looks like a fairly well-designed product, but let's take a look at those photos. Now, this is going to be the 24-inch version, I believe, so look how small that monitor is relative to that big old fat bezel. Normally not a fan of bezels. I have my monitors, my television, it's all super narrow bezel stuff. You know, I really think fat bezels are old school, looks kind of Fisher Price. I'd make an exception here, though, because you're going to want somewhere to put your drinks. So it makes sense, actually, I think, to have a border. Also, it's a couple $100 extra to upgrade your monitor size, so I'm going to guess most of you that bought this or backed it on Kickstarter went with that 24-inch, and I think if I were buying this, I think that's what I would do too. We only have photos of the 24. I'm assuming the monitor will be the same, just a size difference, but it's always possible the monitor itself is upgraded for the 32 just in terms of overall quality, because you guys know when it comes to image quality, there are a million things that can go into making a display high quality, and let's face it, this isn't going to be a very high quality display. Large touch panels are expensive even if they're poor quality, so I would guess this is going to be kind of bottom of the barrel in terms of image quality, but you're playing board games, you're not playing video games for the most part, so I think that's probably okay. And then these are images of the PCB. There are 2 USB ports. I wonder why that is. And then this is, I think, the board for driving the monitor, so controlling the brightness and all of that. Looks very similar to the board that they currently use. You normally don't see this because it's tucked away inside the monitor casing. And then you get to the buttons. So the on off, the volume up and volume down, these switches are different than the switches they use now. It's, I think, the first time they've ever diverged from that. But who cares? They're volume and power switches. Really doesn't matter too much. And they have shipped. So if you look at their Facebook page, they have a separate Facebook page, Infinity Game Table Official, with 2,300 members, so pretty large audience. And they announced a couple days ago these are shipping. These are going to show up in the U.S. at port on February, I think, 5th, they said. So these are going to be getting pushed out to you guys pretty soon for backers. And I would assume they're going to open up retail availability very shortly, because right now, if you go to the Arcade1up site, well, there is no retail availability. And I've not heard of any retailers picking this up. But again, I haven't covered this super closely, so it's possible I missed it. I would also point out there will be video games available. I think they announced a deal a while back with Atari, if memory serves. So you'll be able to play games. Now, when it comes to gaming on a touchscreen, there are some games where it makes sense, like a Brick Breaker or maybe even a Pong or something. But there are other games where it doesn't make sense, like a Tempest or whatever. Basically, most games that need actual physical controls. So I'm real lukewarm on the idea of video gaming on here, but if they've got some of those old school bar games that were a lot of fun, like Brick Breaker or whatever the Atari equivalent is, then that's probably pretty cool. So bottom line on this, if you backed it, get hype, you're getting it soon. Based on this instruction manual, the product looks fairly, as I struggle to find the instruction manual, the product looks fairly well designed and implemented. I do think they heard the community feedback pretty loudly about having those pieces in place so that you can block, there we go, so you can actually block your play, and your teammate, your girlfriend or whatever can't cheat and sneak up on you and figure out where your battleships are. But let me know what you think. We'll see. If you guys are real interested in this, I'll keep covering it, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember to hit that like button, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, consider hitting that join button to support the channel, and thanks so much for watching.